Let's start the various laws and regulations to start in India, and what is the importance to learn the laws and regulations for the industry. Okay, the first law, it is related to the environment, and the name is Environmental Protection Act 1986. It is enacted in 1986 and amended in 1991. Means there is are some corrections or some new things they are added in the 1986. It is enacted, and in 1991 it is amended. So there are some portions might be changed. So why the Protection Act is enacted in India? The reason behind is that there, as after the industrialization, the lots of industries they are established, they are working the various processes, and accordingly, just because of that, the process plant, just because of the some chemical industries, some automobile industries and other industries too, because of that industrialization, the pollution generate. There is a form of pollution. It may be in terms of the air pollution, it may be in terms of the water pollution. So they are impacting the environment. So before the industrialization, the environment is the different, and after the industrialization, the environment is different. So maybe increase the temperature of the earth, there is the pollution of the water, or just because of the deforestation, the natural cycle get disturbed. Okay, and for that one, they want to protect the environment so that there is, should not be any harming to the human beings. And for that one, they enacted the Environment Protection Act. Okay. Another one, the act, it is the Environment Protection Rule. So under the Environment Protection Act, there are the certain rules. So if you visited to the site on this the Central Pollution Control Board, then you will see that there are the different rules of the environment one, and all the industries to be follow that rules. Otherwise, they have to fine for it. So if they say that this is the range of the air pollution, this will be the particle size, this is the limitation of the particle size to be released from the that particular industry. So they strictly follow the norms, and obviously they have the different bodies to which they are watching all this when they are regulating the environment. Another act which is called the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act and rules in 1975. Okay, so before the environment, this act is enacted. Okay, what is this in the Water Prevention Act? As per the as I said, after the industrialization, lots of pollution, the pollution is increases. It get increases. So initially they are harming the water. Whatever be the process plant, they are directly discharge their influent into the into this river stream or into the sea, wherever the water streams are available. In that one, they directly send it without any treatment. And because of that, what happened? There is a the pollution, water pollution takes place. So the government want to control that one, control the pollution, because if you are doing the excess pollution, then it is very difficult to drink that water, or there are all these resources which is available on the earth, it will be the vanish, or it may have the poisonous one. And because of that one, they are enacted one Water Pollution Act 1975. So here they want to clean the water, they are controlling the pollution, so they give the certain norms and the rules that to be followed by the industry, that is to be followed by the industry. And so they enacted in 1975, and again there is a amendment amended in 1988 and 2003. The last amended, it is in 2003. So this amendment amended is just because maybe after a few years, whatever be the initial rules and regulations for the controlling the water pollution may not be that much effective, and they want something, some new changes, so they are amended in that act. But act is same. Okay, whatever be the act in 1975, that is the base one, then they are amended, and the last amendment in 2003. So the objective of this particular act is to prevent and control the water pollution. It is to be prevent and to control. If it is not able to prevent, then it is to be control the water pollution. Another act, it is the Water Pollution Prevention and Control Pollution Says Act 1975. Now, what is the meaning of this one? Says, so the government think that yes, the various industries, they are use the water resources. It means the natural resources they are using. So they are uh, have some says on utilization of the water resources. So under the Water Prevention and Control Pollution Says Act, so the government have some charges of utilization or using of that the water resources from the that region. Next act is the Air Pollution Act. So here is again the Air Prevention and Control Pollution Act in 1981 and amended in 1987. Now the objective of the Prevention and Control Pollution Act is the same. They want to control the pollution, air pollution, especially the air pollution. Now these two are again water pollution and air pollution. If you go to the site on the Central Pollution Control Board or Maharashtra or State Control Pollution Board, then you will see what are the rules and regulations of this act, water and the air. And again, even in first, you see that there is we have to control the water pollution as well as the air pollution, and they have the certain norms just like a limitation. So what is the value of the CO2 generated from the industry? What will be the particle size? What will be the BOD and COD level of the water? What will be the TDS content? What will be the pH before you are discharged into the water resources or into the atmosphere? So you have to do the treatment, give the treatment to that the pollutants, so that it will not harm the fresh water or it will not harm to the environment. And to controlling that one, there is a enacted these types of the act. Another act, it is the Air Prevention and Control Pollution Rules. Okay, in 1981. So they have some changes in that one, and accordingly, the controlling bodies are act. The next act is in 1995. It is the National Environment Tribunal Act. Now, many times what happened, the Environmental Protection Act, Air Pollution and Water Pollution Act, or the Forest Act. So in that one, again, there is a realization that the people who is tribal, they have to prevent they are preventing the environment. And for that one, we have to protect some forest or some area to reserve of it. And in that one, this 1995 enacted this National Environment Tribunal Act. Okay, under this one again we try to save the forest, we try to save a certain region, and we will give the people who are living in that one, the local people who are living in that one, they have to give the chance to do the business. And rather than giving the outsider one, they are always focusing on the local peoples. Okay, so there are the many schemes are available which governments are carried out, so that the people will get a chance for doing a business on that one. Public Liability Insurance Act. This is another act which is related to the environment and related to the industry. Sorry, related to the industry. What exactly it is? The Public Liability Insurance Act. So they have some compulsions about the insurance to the workers, to the surrounding one and all. A Forest Conservation Act in 1981. After the Water Pollution Act, there is another act to be enacted, and it is a Forest Conservation Act. Because of the some air pollution, what happened, and the industrialization, deforestation is takes place. Now the government think that there is a lot of deforestation is going on, so we need to conserve the forest so that there should not be disturb the rainbow cycle in our country. And because of that one, they are enacted the one act which is called a Forest Act 1981. The Forest Conservation Rules in 2003. Okay, then Wildlife Protection Act in 1972, and there is an amendment in the 2003. So to protect the wildlife, there is another act. It is enacted in 1972, so that we the people or humans is not kill the animals. Okay, so no, or the industry where we want to establish in the forest, So again, you have to check the Forest Act, Forest Conservation Act. If you want to start a mine industry, the mine industry definitely it is located in the forest. And if it is located in a forest, then we have to take first permission to start a business, and we have to give in a written form or as per the procedure, as per the act and rule. We have to follow that act and rules of it, okay, so that there should not be any disturbances to the wildlife, there should not be any deforestation just because of the this industry establishment in that area, okay. But yes, if you want to start any new project, then you have to think about all this act, you have to check it, the rules and regulation of this act. If your business is fixed, in this case, as per the guidelines given, then you can be easily start it. Otherwise, you may have facing a problem. So in the definition and the planning phase, you always do the study of this one. Okay, as a project manager, definitely it is your role to just do the study of it. Another act is Municipal Solid Waste Management and Handling Rules in 2000. Okay, so these are the some acts, it is directly or indirectly it is correlate for the starting of a new business, and that's why it is very important for as a project manager we have to learn all these act, or I should know what are the various act and what are the rules of it. This is very important, okay. The another act which is enacted in 2000, and it is a noise regulation and control rules. Now, the noise pollution, we know that day by day there is a continuous increase in the noise pollution, either by the industrialization or by the transportation or by some social functions and all. So there is a enacted in 2000 that the government thing it is need to regulate and control, and for that one again they give the guidelines that this will be the lower limit and this will be the highest limit of this noise or sound. And because of that one the industry as well, they have to make a, such a equipment which is have the less noise as given the guidelines, or that industry should be located somehow some far away from the society, so that there should not be any disturbances. That's why you see all the airports it is far away from the city, just because the aeroplanes it having a huge noise, and because of that noise it is not possible to or it might be disturbing the society, and because of that one it will located away from the society or away from the city. But yes, because of this enacted rules, law in 2000, um, we can regulate the noise pollution, we can control the noise pollution. Another act, it is a coastal regulation zone, CRZ. So in 1991, there have another notification in the it is the coastal regulation zone. Okay, another act or notification it is the fly ash notification in 2008. Those industries, especially the the what we call the thermal power plant. Okay, they are continuously generate the fly ash, or the wherever there is a thermal power plant in an industry, they are generating the fly ash. And now again there is a rules and regulation for it, because whatever be the fly ash which is generated or produced in a plant, it is to be properly disposed. And for there is a rules and regulation for the disposing of that fly ash. And the fly in the when there is a thermal power plant, there may be the lots of dust is formed, lots of smoke is formed, and that is to be controlled. Okay, under this one, the Land Acquisition Act, this is again the important one, because for any industry you need a land. So you have to know what is the Land Acquisition Act in 1894, before the independence. They are acted this one. And here, who is occupied the land? For what purpose you will get a land? Because we are not owner of the land. The particular government is the owner of the land. Okay. So if you want to start any type of business, then we have to purchase the land, and for that one we need to look at this act, what exactly it is given, for what purpose the government issue the land to you. Okay, the National Highway Authority of India Act 1988, this is related to the highway authority. Okay, if you want to make a road, your plant somehow far away from 100 kilometer, and now you want to make a road so that your transportation to be easy. But again, we have to take the permissions from it. The hazardous waste management handling and trend boundary movement rules 2009. Now, after the industrialization, we have to control the water pollution. We control the water pollution. We control the air pollution, noise pollutions. Okay, and now the hazardous waste. You see that all the chemical industries, they have lots of hazardous waste is generated from the process plant. Now, this is again a very important thing that is to be disposed properly. Just like whatever be the waste which is generated from the nuclear plant, it is need to properly dispose it. Otherwise, there is a the formation, there is a radiation takes place surrounding around the plant, and there may be the impacting on the human beings or on the animals. And because of that one, this particular the hazardous waste rules, it will give the management how to handle the hazardous waste. Okay, so the waste which is generated from the clinic, that will be the hazardous one. The waste may be generated from the nuclear plant, that will be the hazardous. Okay, so we have to have the list of it, which are the hazardous waste, and how to handle the waste. Okay, so this is very important. Now, this is the one that is Central Pollution Control Board, okay, under the Ministry of the Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. So this is the one side where you can see the various the procedures for and the matter related to the Air Pollution Act, Water Pollution Act, the Forest Act. Okay, you can go there on this site and you will get the various rules and regulations of it. You get a matter of it, and from that one we see whether our industry, our project is related to that one, what will be the procedure to follow, what are the norms of the government. Okay, so you have to study that part before you are executing your project, and that's why it is very important for us to know the various laws related to this. Okay, another is the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board. Okay, so here I just give the example of the Maharashtra, but we say it is a state pollution control board. So whether you have to establish your plant in Gujarat, whether you have to establish the plant in the UP, MP, wherever it is, okay, or in Maharashtra. So the state government have their own pollution control board. So this pollution control board is work under this central pollution control board. Okay, and again we can you can visit to this site mpcb.gov.in. Okay, where you get all details about the act, as well as what are the rules and regulation, what are the guidelines of the waste, what will be the values. Okay, if you want to know what is the value of BOD for the discharging the water from this industry, then they give the limitation. Okay, this will be the upper and lower limit of it. After that one, you will have a fine if you are discharging that one. Okay, but yes, these two sides, it will give you the details about the various act related to the pollution board, and it will give the guidelines to you. Okay, what will be the upper and lower limit of the discharges from the your plant, what will be the waste that is generated, whether it is a hazardous one, how to handle the hazardous waste and all. So all the rules and regulations can be you can easily find on these two sites. Okay, so this is one picture where you see here. This is the site of Central Pollution Control Board. Okay, and you see here, if you see in this one, so on the left hand side on the this one, it is given the Environmental Act and rules. So study this one: environment protection, water pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, waste waste management. So you have, see, this is the number of tabs, and if you click on this one, then you will get the detail about it. Okay, and not even that one, but other things too. If you want to do the registration, if you want to do get a clearances, but obviously as a chemical engine chemical plant, for the chemical plant, you have to take a permission from the pollution control board, because somehow the industry are polluting, they are generating the waste, they are generating the waste which is harming to the environment. And for that one, we need to take a permission first that yes, this will be the waste which is generated from my plant, and this is my treatment process. And as per your rules, or we are following your rules, and we are discharging the waste accordingly. Okay, so obviously it is need to get a clearances from this department. Now we will talk about the environmental clearances. So in the previous slides, we see the various act. Okay. Now what are the clearances is needed for to establish a plant? The clearances is very important. So to developmental project and the activities are appraised for environmental clearance under the provision of the Environment Impact Assessment EIA notification 2006. So as per the notification from the Environmental Impact Assessment, you have to take a clearances for the project. So there are the various departments depend on what type of the industry you are establishing or what type of the project it is, and accordingly you have to check or take the permissions and the clearances. Okay, let's see one by one what are that. So they are categorized, this one the projects they are categorized. The first category, it is the A category. So A category projects are appraised at a MOEF, means the Ministry of Environmental and Forest. You have to approach to get a clearances to the Ministry of the Environment and Forest. So just like there is the project which is related in our Maharashtra, it is the statue of the Shivaji Maharaj in the sea. For that one, we need a clearance from the Ministry of the Environment and Forest, because that place, that region is under that one, and it is a project under A category. And for that one, we need to take a permission for it. So it may be the industry, it may be the river, valley, or the water resources, it may be the mining, thermal power plants, infrastructure, and coastal regulation zone (CRZ) project. Okay, so these are the certain projects which is comes under the category A. If your project is related to the industry, when I'm talking about the industry, means a large industry, a big industry that you want to establish. Just like the people, the in our area, the Nanar one, Nanar project. So that will be the big project, and for that one again we need to take the permission from this department. In Jaitapur, the nuclear power plant, that is also the one of the big industry. Definitely, we will take the permissions from it. Also, you see, this is the coastal regulation zone. So that industry comes nearer to the coastal side. So again, we have to take the permission from here. So where is your project comes, in which category it is comes. So first we need to find out that one. And for that one, we have to know what are the different categories of a project. And accordingly, we will take a permissions from that respective departments. Okay. So it may be the industry, river, valley, and the water resources. If your project is related to this one, then again we need to take permission from this department. A mining, as I said, the mining is obviously we have to that mines are in nearer or surrounding the forest one or in the forest, and definitely we will take the permission from this one. Without permission of this one, we can't start our project of mining. Okay. The thermal power plants, again it is need to take a permission, and the if you want to build up any infrastructure, then they definitely we have to look out, or the coastal regulation zone the project comes, then again you need to take a permission here. Okay. After that, a category A, there is another category which is called category B. Now under the category B, the projects are considered by the State Environment Impact Assessment Authority. The first one, it is assessed by the central government. Okay. And now this second one, which is called a category B, the project is considered under the State Environmental Impact Assessment Authority. Okay. Now let's look about forest clearances. Okay. Now we are categorize our project, a category A project and category B project. Now if say uh, the project is related to mining, now definitely we will take a permission from the forest department, the Ministry of the Forest. Okay. So why we are taking the permission? Because there is a Forest Conservation Act. Now, as per the Forest Conservation Act, there is one rule that there is no deforestation takes place. And if you want to do a deforestation or if you want to cut the trees at that time, you need to take a permission from that department. And obviously, there have the different rules. So here, it is granted under the Forest Conservation Act 1980. So you will get a permission, you will get a clearances to your project only and only under the Forest Conservation Act 1980. What is the act says? What are the guidelines of the act, and accordingly they will give you a permission. So what is the procedure under the act mandate or two-stage approval process? So obviously they are having certain processes. You have to go through the site to the department, do the registration, and you have to follow the procedures of it. I will not go in detail how what are the procedures and all, but yes, there is one department which is a Parvish. Okay, so Parivesh is the one of the department where you can get a clearances for the forest. You get a forest clearances. Okay, and this is the department. Obviously, it is under the Ministry of the Environment, Forest, and Climate Change, Government of India. So the name initially it will have the MOEF, Ministry of the Environment and Forest. Now the name is changed and it is a Ministry of the Environment, Forest, and Climate Change. Okay, that will be the department from which you have to take a clearances. So you can visit to this site. You will get the details about the various procedures and what is the guidelines to get a clearances. Okay, so if you visit to this site, Parvesh, then you will get a detail about it. But yes, as a project manager, at least we should know from which department I need a clearance for my project. Okay. After that one, so yes, so this is all about the various laws, regulations, and the clearances of it. The new topic that we will see in detail about the what are the various list of the various clearances for a new project. If you want to start a new project, then what are the types of the clearances that you need, where you have to register, which are the offices we have to visit so that we can get a registration, we can get a clearance, or we can get a permissions to start up a business. But yes, that we will see in the next class. Thank you.